So, what I've talked about in previous videos, I always talk about putting yourself in a situation. If you're going to make a move in the NBA, processing means everything. Like, the process of it needs to make sense. That's how I always feel. I don't, the outcome of how it turns out could be unfortunate. Anything could happen. It's the NBA. But the process needs to make sense. And the Atlanta Hawks recently, I'm not going to lie, the process of what they have done has made total sense. I'm going to speak about all the moves the Atlanta Hawks made in the whole 2025 calendar, going back all the way from the preseason. I'm going to tell you how I look at this roster moving forward going into the offseason. We have about 20 games left, 20, 30 games left of the season. And I just wanted to speak about the greatness of Onsi Saleh and what he has done and the future of what he has for this team moving forward. Let's talk about it. So in the preseason, we had Kobe Buffkin. We traded Kobe Buffkin away for Brooklyn Nets. Kobe Buffkin was at the end of the lineup. It was hard to get minutes. I could argue that Kobe Buffkin is a better player than Keaton Wallace. So at first, people was like, "Yeah," but if you know Kobe Buffkin was a first round pick, and the first round picks make way more money, and the point is to clear salary. And Kobe Buffkin had no way to really play, so there was no way to raise his value. So with that being said, it was hard. You might as well deal him now and just get him off the books while you have a chance. Next trade, the Atlanta Hawks trade Trae Young for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. No picks. Now, if you've been following this channel, well, I wasn't posting, but if you were following me from your Pick Your Spot podcast, and remember, if you just follow me off of Twitter, if you ever follow me off Twitter, I've been saying the Atlanta Hawks need a trade off of Trae Young years ago. The reason why I said that because I just small guard university, it's very hard for me and just how I process the game to have a small guard that doesn't bring you any value defensively because there's a lot of small guards that do well, but they usually have long wingspans, athletic of some sort. And Trae Young's athleticism, since compared to like 2021, 2020 has went down due to Achilles tendonitis injuries, the MCL injury that he caught early in the year. Just little things have brought Trae Young's legs and his athleticism down. So the defense is always it's gonna look already worse with him being a guy that doesn't have a long wingspan or never had the defensive motor that we have of like a Davion Mitchell of concern or things of that nature. So we get to 2025 where Trae Young has now became available and nobody wants him because of the injuries, because of the money that he wants, because he wants a long-term deal. Atlanta Hawks don't want to be in. Like I said, Onsi Saleh does not want long-term contracts. He does not want to put himself in a situation where he is now fighting against like getting players in here with the second apron. If anyone knows anything about Atlanta Hawks, our owner, Tony Bresler, does not want to pay the luxury tax. He's always said he doesn't want to pay the luxury tax. So knowing who your which that's another topic for another day if you want to complain about that. But knowing who your owner is and playing that means so much to being a GM and understanding what the situation is and understanding team building, understanding right now, if you look back, there's not a lot of small guards that because people act like Steph Curry is 6 foot or 6'1" like Trae Young. He's not. He's a 6'3" guard, and yes, he's a smaller guard where we are going to with like Shea being a 6'5", 6'6" guard. But the point of the matter is we all knew the Trae Young era time was done. So you shipped Trae Young for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. What's the big thing about CJ McCollum? CJ McCollum's on a 1 year deal for $30 million right now. He becomes a free agent. Now you can decide, you can evaluate CJ McCollum, which at this point in the season, I would probably move from CJ. But he hasn't been, like, he's had good games, he has bad games so far. Anyways, you can evaluate CJ. You can extend him for a lower deal because he's 34 years of age and he's getting to a point where he is a bench player in the NBA. And yeah, so great. So not great deal because obviously for Trae Young's value and who Trae Young is as a player, you want picks back. But for the situation that we was in, that he took in a shorter contract than CJ. He took in Corey Kispert, who has been an amazing 3-point shooter since he got here. Yeah, at the time it's Like, oh my God, Corey Kispert for 3 years, that's bad. 13 mil. Ooh, I want to pay Corey Kispert for 3 years. But now looking at Corey Kispert as one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and Corey Kispert is showing things that he probably didn't get to show in Washington because he was pushed back in the lineup to rebuild with these even younger guards. The next trade was the Atlanta Hawks acquired Duop Reed, a 2022 second round pick, a 2030 second round pick for Vit Krejci. Vit Krejci, I love my Vit Krejci. He was a G League teammate. He was a guy that was not supposed to be in the rotation, but he got better and better and better and better and better and better. In the last 3 years, he's been a 40% 3-point shooter. And Portland, if anyone knows anything about the Portland Trailblazers, they are struggling shooting. They need shooters. They need shooters around this group. So you got Vit Krejci, who was on an amazing contract. Vit Krejci is making $2 million this year, $2 million next year. Then he has a team option for $3 million. It's like, okay, cool. But then you brought a Duop Reed, who you could instantly was able to waive. So you only got to pay him his $2 million for this year. And now, Vit Krejci wasn't on a long contract, 2 year, 3 years, when the third year was a team option. You still get to remove that off the books, and you already have shooters. We have CJ McCollum, we have Nikhil, we have Zachary Ruchet, we have and I'll get to we had Luke Kennard at the time, we had Kristaps Porzingis at the time, we have Onyeka Okongwu that's been shooting 36-37% this season. We've had the 3-point shooters. And losing Vit, and Vit was getting slowly pushed back in the lineup because of Corey Kispert emerges, and then Zachary Ruchet came back from injury. It was like, okay, this is technically selling high on Vit, having a career year from three, shooting 44% from three. This is the perfect time to sell off of Vit Krejci. Let's do it. And you got 2 picks, and not only the picks, it was the 2027 Atlanta Hawks pick that we shipped off years ago or whatever, and we got it back. 2030 is a second round New York Knicks. Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, you're just collecting second round picks. What the fuck are second round picks? People don't know 5 second round picks 2 years ago got a Saddiq Bey. Now, Saddiq Bey was not the Saddiq Bey that is today, but the point is second round picks are more of value that they were in the past. People look at second round picks and kind of scoff at it, but second round picks can bring you developmental players. Second round picks to get you players that are looked upon as like and you throw them in a great Atlanta Hawks farm system that brought a Vit Krejci, that brought a Jalen Johnson. Even though Jalen Johnson was a high lottery pick that was highly talented, but Jalen Johnson has said his year in the G League for the Skyhawks really made him the player he is today, which you don't know. So the Atlanta Hawks have a really good G League system. Of just developing players and stuff. You have Daquan Plowden that, the Sacramento Kings are tanking right now, but you just saw Daquan Plowden have a really good game for the Sacramento Kings last night. So it's little things. Then the next Atlanta Hawks deal of the trade deadline was we gave Utah Jazz some cash and we brought in Jock Landale. Jock Landale is another player that is on a 1-year contract, $2 million. It's about 6'11" center. Defensively, his skill set isn't the best, but he's a 3-point shooter that can spread the floor out. He's a great offensive rebounder. And you just saw Jock Landale have one of the best games for a person that gets kind of traded for cash considerations in his first game ever. He dropped 27 points, hit 5 threes, 2 blocks, had 11 rebounds, and we got the win. Great pickup. We love Jock in Atlanta. And he's on a 1-year deal. Like a lot of people in NBA Twitter, Black History Month, they use the term slave contract. Now, I'm not going to use the word slave contract, but I'm going to use the word of getting these overlooked players around the league. You can get them on a very, very cheap deal. And I'm not saying Jock Landale should be our backup center for the future. Hell no, I'm not saying that. Jock Landale could be our 3rd center of the future. He could be the 13th man, 11th man that can be played when injuries occur, just like this. Anyways, I digress. Next move. The Atlanta Hawks trade Kristaps Porzingis for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, I initially raged. No, okay, let me tell you my reactions for this trade in particular. At first, I was extremely happy. Oh my God, we are getting Jonathan Kuminga, the talent. Even though my brain instantly went to, oh, the fit is kind of wonky. Dr. Daniel, Jonathan Kuminga, not good three-point shooters. Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Johnson, not the biggest fit of the tandem. I was like, what are we gonna do with Zachary? My mind, but the fact that Jonathan Kuminga, the talent, amazing, amazing move. You are trading for Kuminga, who didn't get to play in Golden State, is on an amazing contract. He's on a $22 million team option for this year and next year. So now you have a 30-day evaluation with him. You can bring Jonathan Kuminga in. Jonathan Kuminga can show out, put up good stats with the Atlanta Hawks team, or just show that he could play a role. Quinn Snyder, we have shown to be a very good developmental coach. Maybe have him learn how to get to his spots better, things of that nature. Have him do the little things like get on the board, what the Atlanta Hawks really need in the wings. Because other than Jalen Johnson, none of our wings are positive rebounders. Wait, I'm thinking about it. Correct. None of our wings are positive rebounders, other than Jalen Johnson, which is probably one of the best defensive rebounders in the league. Jonathan Kuminga is a good rebounder. Jonathan Kuminga is a good game to run. Jonathan Kuminga's free throw rate is immaculate. Now the shooting with Jalen Johnson isn't the greatest. The shooting with Dyson Daniels on the field, we just saw Dyson Daniels shoot a three, and the Hornets announced he screamed like his life was on the line. Calm down, buddy. It's not that serious. But, well, it is that serious. But the point of the matter is that I love the deal. Then I saw the Buddy Hield contract. I said, whew. Buddy Hield. Don't know if I like Buddy Hield for 3 years, 9 million, 10 million with a player contract. But then when I learned, I was very upset. I said, this is Onsi Saleh's worst trade he's made, because the process of it doesn't make sense. You're taking in a long contract of Buddy Hield when you've already taken in a long contract of a shooter of Corey Kispert already, that you already have your question marks about it. Now you're taking a Buddy Hield that's regressing later in his career. I didn't like it. Then we saw that Buddy Hield can actually be waived before draft night. And I said, ooh. Now, unless Buddy Hield turns into Oklahoma Buddy Hield, he's getting waived. It just doesn't, like, the Orlando Hawks GM is very, very process oriented. Listen, the chances of Buddy Hield not being waived, just like a 5% chance. And I would lose my mind if he didn't get waived. But now then his contract becomes fully guaranteed. Then you have Buddy Hield for 2 more years. And making $9 million, $10 million. And we have a chance to bring in 2 rookies next year. So, which people don't know when you bring in rookies. Well, one of our rookies will be a later first-round pick, but our first rookie will be a lottery pick. And depending on how high it is, he could be making Zachary Ricochet money. And if people don't know what Zachary Ricochet money is, Zachary's making 13, then he's making 17 his final year. So, you gotta clear up some space for that. The final trade, which I'm not a fan of the player coming in, and I'm very upset about the player we're losing. We're losing Luke Kennard, and we're getting Gabe Vincent in a 32 second round pick. But again, we're gaining a 2032, god damn it, second round pick from the Lakers that we can use in a trade, or we can just keep for the future. So the point of the matter, after laying out all of, I don't think Gabe Vincent, let me state this, is also on a 1-year contract. So what you guys have to understand is, after I went 15 minutes breaking out all the trades and breaking out all my thoughts of the trades and things of that nature, every single thing that we have taken in either has a team option or 1 year. That is amazing for a team that wants to open up their options. And what people don't understand, Dyson Daniels is currently making $7 million. He's going to start making $25 million next year. He's going to make 25 for the next 4 years. Now Dyson Daniels has regressed as a shooter offensively, which when I say a shooter, he wasn't never a shooter. But the point of the matter is, you wanted him to go up in production. Now he has regressed, and it's like, damn. But since Dyson Daniels will be making $25 million, a lot of people are saying, what the fuck? Okay, so the Atlanta Hawks are making a bunch of one-year deal for what? What are the Atlanta Hawks targeting? Is there a free agent that Atlanta Hawks are trying to clear space for? Now, if you don't know, now you know. The 2026 NBA free agency is not the best. So, what the fuck is the Atlanta Hawks doing? Let me explain. So, we have optionality. Now we have the optionality of, if you bring back Kuminga's contract, first of all, Gabe Vincent off. Gabe Vincent off. There's a chance Jock Landale could be off. There's a chance Buddy Hield could be off. CJ McCollum could be off. That is about 30. I'm about to do the math for you guys. 30 million plus 11 million plus 9 million. That's 50. We're at 50 million right now. Plus $52 million off the books that we are currently paying players right now. I did not add Kuminga to this because Kuminga, if you add Kuminga to this, it's 73. When I thought about it, Kuminga is most likely going to stay. If you hate it, you hate it. Kuminga is most likely going to stay for two reasons. Jonathan Kuminga, one, needs to stay because you want to give him more time to evaluate. He's a young player. He's a talented player. No, even though I am not the biggest fan of Kuminga's skill set for what he has shown in Golden State, I can also admit he has not shown the full opportunity. And when he does show the opportunity, his flashes are very, very high. His lows are lows, but his flashes are very, very high. And you want to give him a full offseason with the Atlanta Hawks to give him a chance in the system, depending on who you draft. Now, if you draft an AJ, you draft a Caleb Wilson, a Cam Boozer, there's a chance Kuminga is removed from this equation, and then where he has $73 million on the books. But if you get the Darren Peterson, you get the Kingston Fleming, you get the Keenan Wagler, and I'm not saying these other guys I wouldn't get, because I would. These are very talented players. Those three players I named before that, Boozer, Caleb Wilson, and AJ, I draft before it. Well, I draft Darren Peterson before all of these guys. But those three, I draft before we get to Kingston Flemings, or we get to Keith Wagler. All amazing players. All amazing players. But I would draft those players before. So then, maybe then I would remove Kuminga out the equation, because just to free out wing spot and wing minutes for these young players, because these young players are extremely talented and are going to need time to be on the court. But we're not at that stage to say those players are 100% going to be our roster, so let's play in the mindset they won't be on our roster. Jonathan Kuminga will stay because of those reasons I stated before. So now we have about $53 million, but what you have to remember is $25 million will be removed because Dyson Daniels will, well, not 25, but like subtract the 7 and add the 25. This is a lot of numbers, but the point is Dyson Daniels' contract's going to go up. Zachary Ricochet number goes up every single year. Actually, I think Zach will be making this about the same amount. It'll go up, but he's making this about the same amount next year. Nikhil's actually going to regress down and stuff like that. So, and Yaki Okongwu goes up 1 year. I mean, 1 mil. I digress. Very low. So the free agencies, the 2026 free agencies, let's get to that point. The free agency pool is pretty bad. I'm going to show on the screen. The free agency pool is, okay. So the 2026 free agency is kind of Let's go ahead and do some additions or subtractions of who's going to be on the roster, who's going to be available for the Atlanta Hawks and who's not. LeBron, no. Trae, no. Zach LaVine's going to accept his play option, 43 mil. I don't know if he's going to get that somewhere else on the market. James Harden's an ETA, but he's most likely going to accept his $42 million player option. CJ, we could bring back for less money. Chris Middleton's out the option. Too old of a wing player. Will take too much ball usage at times. Not really a player that you want to bring into the system. Isaiah Hartenstein, he has a $28 million team option. Now, I believe OKC has to decline it, but they're going to have to pick between him or Lou Dort this year just because of like the tax or the second apron. I believe. I'm not too knowledgeable. But I'm pretty sure they're going to have to pick between the two of those. They're going to change Isaiah Hartenstein walks. If Isaiah Hartenstein walks, the Hawks need to do everything in their power to bring this guy in as um, their starting center or their backup center. Isaiah Hartenstein fits a lot of things the Hawks need. They need rebound. The Hawks need rim deterrence. Isaiah Hartenstein ranks. I wish I brought the stats up. Isaiah Hartenstein ranks top of the leagues in these metrics. Isaiah Hartenstein is a great passer of the short roll. Isaiah Hartenstein can play in multiple ways. Isaiah Hartenstein is a champion. He brings experience as well to this Atlanta Hawks team. Isaiah Hartenstein fits this Atlanta Hawks core extremely well at the age of 27. Basically going to be 28 going to next season. Isaiah Hartenstein would be an amazing ad. Other than that, you scroll down, you look at Draymond, you look at all these other players. Nothing really catches my eyes as when we talk about top people. Obviously, Austin Reeves is probably most likely going to sign a long extension. If not, I would love Austin Reeves in Atlanta, but you have to be realistic in videos like this. Now you're looking at all these players down here, all these players in the bottom, and you just question, well, are any of these players? I like a Day'Ron Sharpe as a backup big. I think he's a really good player. That is very, very, very underlooked. It comes down to where you lose Jock Landale, or you already have two stretch bigs as your center, maybe a Andre Drummond on the very back of the bench on like a minimum contract or something like that. But the point is, that's why I think Kuminga contract is going to get picked up, because as you can see, the free agency pool is very light. You know, if you compare to a 2027, 2028 season free agency pool that everybody is searching for, you see the superstars on this list. Like, it goes down, 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 down. Like, the Atlanta Hawks have the optionality to really hold out to sign one of these big time players. Now, free agency is, when bringing big time players to Atlanta, free agency is very slim to none. It almost never happens. I can't remember the biggest free agent star that signed here. Maybe a Paul Millsap. I think we got Joe Johnson from a trade. But so maybe a Paul Millsap. But I mean, he wasn't even a star. He made an all-star team while he was in Atlanta, but it was Paul Millsap, a star caliber player of a Kawhi Leonard or a Donovan Mitchell. No, they're not. And then you get to the draft. I'm going to make this. You get to the draft where there's some things that the Hawks could do, or stuff like that. So if you are unfamiliar about the Atlanta Hawks situation, the Atlanta Hawks have 2 first-round picks and stuff like that. I'm going to do a take-a-thon simulator. This is going to hurt some of y'all hearts. It's going to hurt some of y'all hearts, but I'm going to do one. We sim the lottery. The Atlanta Hawks fall to 4. And the Atlanta Hawks fall to 4. After Caleb Wilson's amazing performance against Duke, I might go Caleb Wilson. But I am Kingston Fleming University pro, so I am fine with the Atlanta Hawks going Kingston Fleming here. I think anywhere, obviously, I think the biggest, to me, there's a lot of Atlanta Hawks fans that disagree or agree. But the best player in the draft to me is Darren Peterson. If you were the Atlanta Hawks, you have a chance to go Darren Peterson, you go Darren Peterson. But obviously, the chances of you getting first is always hard. That's what these teams getting very, very scary in the way they are taking. Adam Silver, please do something. Please. It's hard. It's very hard. The Atlanta Hawks have a second pick. If it comes down to this, we're at 22 right now for this second pick. I wouldn't know. I know some of these players. I like a Cameron Carr. Very, 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 very good scorer. Stuff like that. I haven't got too into like the late first round picks. Stuff like that. I know all these players up here. When we start getting to like the Malachi Monroes, the Karim Lopez's, I know Dalen Swain. This isn't the best. This isn't the best draft for centers and big mans. So we might have to get a wing and then look for our big man rotation with Isaiah Hartenstein or the Walker Kessler in the restricted free agency, or trying to get someone in via trade. But then again, you don't want to mess up your optionality of your draft pick that you just created trading and having great contracts. So you don't want to. The Atlanta Hawks already did not have good picks, and Onsi Saleh stated this in his last um, conference when he first got here. The Atlanta Hawks draft situation and um, draft picks that we had in storage, there wasn't a lot. Now we have a lot. You don't want to lose that for no reason. Not for no reason, but making a bigger deal that could impact the future of the team and impact the future of having the optionality of going many different ways and while staying competitive. So that is the video. I just want to break down what the Atlanta Hawks did in the trade deadline. Amazing trade deadline by Onsi Saleh. Amazing processing. I want to talk about a little bit about the free agents we can look at. I want to talk about the NBA draft. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys if you watched the video. I appreciate you guys for being here for 28, 29 minutes of me non-stop talking. I know I'm a yapper, and I wanted to make a video about a lot of teams, but I mean it just felt right because a lot of people are not understanding what the layout. I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of basketball podcasts. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are not as in tuned in to the Atlanta Hawks and what they are doing and stuff like that, and like what they're doing for not only this year, because a lot of people like to look at the now and don't want to like open their mind, open their brain up to what could be the future of the team. Obviously, the team is not ready to compete now. The team is very mid. That's the Atlanta Hawks. We are very mid. That's the city of Atlanta sports. We are very mid. But to break the moldness of being mid, you have to make smart moves. Like people don't remember the moves OKC made before he won the championship. People just remember what they're doing now. You have to remember what, not remember, but you have to have the building blocks before you do anything. If you ever seen the idiots that do the crate challenge, you just don't run up the motherfucker. You gotta build slowly and make smart moves to get yourself to the situation that you want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna make videos like this for other teams. I wanted to actually talk about most of all the lottery teams and stuff like that because I have a good understanding of most teams that are rebuilding. I love rebuildings. Like I love just a team that is not. I don't like teams in the gutter. Like I'm not a Sacramento King fan, man. Like I pray for them because you really don't know what the organization is doing with some of the trades they do, stuff like that. But I like a smart organization. What the Wizards did in the trade deadline, like what the Utah Jazz have done, building their team back up and stuff like that, and not relying too hard on like luck of the lottery and stuff like that. They are doing some very nasty taking away stuff too. But sometimes you gotta do it to get there. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys have any tips, any ideas, any topics that you want me to talk about, I watch everything in the NBA, not only just Atlanta Hawks. I make a lot of Atlanta Hawks videos because that is the main thing I invest my time, energy to. But I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Comment, like, subscribe down below, and